Hey rugby fans, welcome back to my channel. Now my name is Ralph and welcome back to Rugby Fanatic. Now in today's video we're diving into the opening All Blacks test of the year in 2025. A game that left a lot on the field and also raised even more questions off it. And yes, we need to talk about Justin Marshall's take before the game because what France brought was far from a B team. They made no excuses, zero fear. There was a performance full of grit, structure, and also heart. So let's break it all down. So starting off with our player ratings, Will Jordan. So shifted to the wing after Reece went down early, and Will Jordan reminded everyone why he's world class. I mean, he's the most lethal finisher in world rugby with 2 tries, 1 assist, and sheer electricity in every touch. Yes, there were some issues under the high ball, but that's a team-wide problem. But when the ball bounces his way, there was nobody better. So, I gave him a rating of 8 out of 10. And Sevi Reece, yes, poor bloke, barely had time to sweat, concussed in the opening minute. No rating, but just wishing him a speedy recovery. And moving on to Rico. Now, there's been some hype that Rico was going back to the wing. And while he had some flashes of brilliance, 70 metres, 3 clean breaks, his defence was shocking. He struggled under the high ball. He dropped that ball in the second half, and it was at the start of the second half too. But the experiment's not over, but the early returns aren't convincing. So I gave him a rating of 4 out of 10. And then we move on to Billy Proctor. It was a hard day in the office for Billy Proctor. It was tough. This was a test for Billy's readiness, and French, midfield gave him a harsh lesson. A poor read led to a clean break, and some costly handling errors showed he's still adjusting to this level. And disappointing considering his Super Rugby form. So I gave him a rating of 5 out of 10. And Geordie Barrett, dependable as ever, carried well, used his skill set to shape the attack, and even got a try for his efforts. He's the glue in the back line, but he needs stronger support around him, so I'll give him a rating of 6 out of 10. And then we got Beauden Barrett, flawless off the tee, composed in the game. His game management was on. 2 try assist and clutch cover tackles. He and Mackenzie complemented each other beautifully in broken play, but one of Bodie's better recent test outings. So I gave him a 8 out of 10. And then Cam Roigard, like wire around the fringes, always a threat with support and snipping runs. The kicking game needs polish, but he's looking more and more like the long-term 9. So I gave him a 7 out of 10 rating. And then we had Christian Leo-Willie, solid debut, strong on both sides of the ball, made a turnover and didn't give away penalties. Not flashy, but did the basics well. A platform to build from. So I gave him my ratings of 5 out of 10. And then we had Artie. Yes, Artie was all action as always. 19 carries, 13 passes. But Wookie's try will sting as he was beaten cleanly in the lead up. He's a general, but the influence of the breakdown felt muted. So I gave him a rating of 7 out of 10. Then we had Tupu Va'ai. Now, not his best game, but still contributed with a turnover and a try, but a bit slow in some defensive phases, though needs to find his 2024 form again. So I gave him a rating of 6 out of 10. And then moving on to Fabian Holland. Outstanding debut. He led the tackle count with 17 and made his presence known with strong carries and did his core jobs well and looked right at home. So I'll give him a 7. And Scott Barrett, the captain, massive charge down moment, but otherwise pretty quiet from the skipper. He'll want to lead more from the front and, physicality and urgency. So I'll give him a 5 out of 10. And then Fletcher Newell, yes, did his job in the scrum. Not much else to write home about, but reliable. So I gave him a 5 out of 10. And then Cody Taylor, best All Black forward on the day. I mean, clean set pieces, nearly 40 metres with ball in hand, and a key turnover led by example. So I gave him an 8. And then Ethan de Groot, yes, scrummed well, but like Newell, offered little else around the park. Quiet game. Yeah, it was a quiet game for Ethan de Groot, so I gave him a 5. And then the replacements, yes, Robertson needed impact, but got energy without dominance. Now, Mackenzie was sharp after, an early entry. Karefi had moments. Basilio Tosi was hard done by, with that obstruction call. But the bench didn't swing the game like you would expect from the All Blacks. So I gave them a rating of 5 out of 10. So there you have it with my player ratings. So let's address that pre-match commentary from, Justin Marshall in his podcast. He claimed it was disrespectful for France to bring a second stride side. They were making excuses. And they shouldn't be invited. So some harsh words from Justin Marshall. Well, that so-called B team brought heart, structure, and flat out courage. I mean, they were in our faces from the first minute to the last. The French defense was relentless. I mean, the breakdown worked smart. They disrupted our game plan, disrupted our, disrupted the breakdown. But yeah, they were ruthless, and their kicking game was pinpoint. But Theo and Gelaton and Jaco Van Tonda, man, these guys weren't intimidated. They thrived. That was a statement game for French, rugby and depth, and they made a mockery of the B team label. Hats off to them, honestly. Well-deserved performance. They'll be even hungrier in the second test in Wellington. But credit to the French side. My respect to the French supporters. So, look, we got the win. Win is a win. And it doesn't matter how flash it is, but it's a test match. It's always going to be tough. And, it's always going to be classic. But this was a one for the ages. This was a good, test match between two best teams. Let's not paper over the cracks, but there are some serious concerns here. I mean, the aerial game, weak defensive reads, patchy midfield, cohesion, questionable, and without our bench giving us the spark we're used to, we're not as deep as we think. But Razor's area is off and running, but it's clear this team is far from the finishing product. But the blueprint is there, but the players are there, but execution, consistency, and clarity under pressure, that will still needs work. There you have it, rugby fans. Comment below. What do you guys think? Did France deserve the win? Who stood out? And where do we go from here as All Blacks fans? So comment below, be interesting to hear your thoughts about this game. So don't forget to subscribe for more rugby content, keep supporting your rugby teams, and keep the rugby spirit alive. And we will see you in the next video.